My name's Connor, and this is me riding the tram. I'm 29 years old and I use a wheelchair full time as I have central core disease. In this video, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for using the tram yourself. Today I used Park and Ride. At various tram stops around Greater Manchester are Park and Ride services, indicated with signs like this one. You can park your car for free of charge where you get the tram, and here are some handy things to know about Park and Ride. There are often height restrictions, so if you have a tall vehicle such as a minivan, check its height. As you can see, in this Park and Ride car park, there are loads of spaces for blue badge holders. Parking is free of charge during the times that trams are in service. This means there's only overnight parking on Friday and Saturday nights. You don't have to display anything in your vehicle, just your disabled badge. But if you're unsure of the rules, check signs like this in the car park. Sometimes you have to cross tram tracks to get to the platform, so be careful with your wheels. The weather couldn't make up its mind today, so here's me getting caught out in the rain. Most platforms have ramps with fairly forgiving gradient, so if you use a manual wheelchair it shouldn't be too steep. Some stations however do require lifts to get to. There are signs like these by lifts so you have a contact for emergencies. But you can also check on the Metrolink website for which lifts are not working, and the page will show information like this. I'll leave a link below in the video description. There are lots of different ways you can pay to use the tram, but it's important to know that you can't buy a ticket once you get on the tram, and you can be fined for not having a ticket. You can tap in and out using a card or a phone with contactless pay at these points. You can pay it on the app and have the tickets on your phone, or you can do what I did and buy physical tickets at these points. The ticket machines all have maps on, like this one, so I'll show you a zoomed in version now. So I'm going between these two stations, Ladywell Point and St Peter's Square. So then I check the table and that's a ticket for Zone 1 and Zone 2. So here you can see I have an adult day pass for Zones 1 and 2, which means I can travel to any stations in these two zones as much as I like all day. Signs like this show boarding zones for disabled passengers, and an area is marked out on the floor. These indicate where the doors will be that are closest to the wheelchair spaces. In every wheelchair space is an emergency call system like this, so if you're travelling alone, and even if there's no one else on the tram to ask for help, you can call the driver in an event of emergency. While I ride the tram to town, I'll show you a few other helpful things. For those who have less visible disabilities, these badges are available from Transport for Greater Manchester. I'll leave a link in the video description. These sunflower lanyards are also available for people with less visible disabilities that might need assistance. I also got this very handy fold-out map from Metrolink staff while I was waiting on the platform. So here's a little practice of me getting off the tram, so you can see where it won't be quite so busy. Moving when the tram is can be tricky, so maybe don't follow my example and wait until the tram has stopped. Press the button here to open the doors and the light will flash. Now, as soon as the tram stops, the doors will open. And there I go. But I'm actually going all the way to the city centre today, so onwards we go. St Peter's Square tram stop is where I'm heading, and the next stop will always show on these signs, and there'll be audio announcements too. The Metrolink tram system in Manchester is a really accessible way to get around, especially if you use a wheelchair. Just always remember to check there are no travel alerts for things like broken lifts, and buy a ticket so you're not caught out and fined. And remember, if you need help, you can always ask the people in these uniforms. Thanks for letting me film you today, guys. That's all from me today. There are links for information in the video description. Safe travels!